Thank you for joining me. I'm meteorologist Brian Shields. Thank you for taking the time to subscribe. All right, let's get right to this. Last night, a 7.6 in magnitude earthquake. This was a massive earthquake. I want to show you the aftershocks that we're still getting, the prospects for more aftershocks, and the overall tsunami outlook, what I was seeing when this was developing. I'll cover that, the type of earthquake this was. Now, what happened was last night, again, it was about a 7.6 magnitude. It was not too deep, which means a lot of us felt it. I was getting reports. Thank you for leaving those comments. If you did feel it, put those comments, and I'll be going through those throughout the day. Put your location as well. It was felt up to Cuba, the Bahamas, South Florida, back to Belize, Honduras, Nicaragua, of course, parts of Jamaica, over toward, again, Cuba, and, of course, the Cayman Islands. 7.6 in magnitude, about 6 miles down or 10 kilometers down, which is relatively shallow. Again, the ones that are shallower are more likely to be felt. They're not as deep down buried into the ground. Now, as far as the aftershocks go, there have been some, and there's been a lot. There's been a few significant ones of about 4 to 5 in magnitude. I believe the biggest one was about 4.8 or 4.9. So we still have these rumblings going on. We've had about 5 aftershocks in the 4 to 5 range, and a lot more that have been smaller. And I do suspect that as we go throughout the day today, and if not tomorrow and the next day, there will be additional aftershocks. Those are smaller earthquakes, so less than that 7.6 in magnitude, that follow that bigger quake. So we're still going to see some additional earthquakes out of this, hopefully much lesser in magnitude, but know that throughout the day I am watching that. So what does that mean for that tsunami kind of outlook and prospect for this? Now, when this developed, I did a quick post on this on YouTube to keep you covered. Now, where this occurred, the fault line this occurred, this was a strike slip fault. So that is, you see, it's basically you have two pieces together. This is under the water, and they slide past each other, right? Those types of earthquakes are less likely to cause a tsunami. Why? Well, it's different because they're not going up. They're just sliding past each other. Anything that kind of rises could help rise that water. So being that it was a strike slip fault, just sliding past each other and not necessarily rising or having one area lower, that was helpful. And that's why there were those tsunami advisories put out. We're on the outlook for that together. But fortunately, we didn't see anything significant out of that. And that should be the same way for the aftershocks. Know, though, that I'm watching that. A different type of earthquake, you may have a lift in part of the land, or it kind of could even rise over another part. So anytime you get a rising or a lowering, that type of scenario is more likely to cause a tsunami. So this was that strike slip, kind of sliding past each other, which was fortunate because this was a 7.6. So very strong. If it was that type of earthquake, we would have a different scenario, and more likely than not, there would have been a significant tsunami. That was not the case. Now, we've had a lot of activity ongoing in this area, and I mentioned this in yesterday's video, so thank you again for subscribing and being part of this channel. There was Friday night, just to the north of the area that there is that 7.6, there was a 4.3 in magnitude. So there was a little earthquake just to the north. There's been a lot of activity around over the last week or so, not just in that spot, but elsewhere, over towards Central America, we've had a 5.6 and a 4.4. Been watching over toward Guatemala and El Salvador, where there's been significant earthquakes. So they're not necessarily tied together, but with that said, we've had a lot of activity over the last week or so. This over here, of course, we always have the rumblings through the U.S. and British Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic. There was a 3.9 a couple days ago, just to the north of Puerto Rico and the DER. Again, not too significant. There's always a lot of quakes there. So monitoring elsewhere too in this very active period that we have. Now, you look at the earthquake depth, of course, the deeper they are, the less likely we are to feel it. The one we had, the 7.6, fell in this range. The shallow range, which is 0 to 70 kilometers down or 0 to 40 miles down. Anything deeper than that, you see 70 to 300 kilometers down or 40 to 190 miles down. That's intermediate. And then anything deeper than that, that would just be simply deep. deep. This one was shallow. That's why many of us felt it around the Caribbean, around the region. But fortunately, being that strike slip, that did help prevent, or at least not cause, that tsunami. So lots to track. I'll be monitoring those aftershocks. Right now, we've been watching some of those spotty showers close to the ABC Islands over toward Dominica, Guadeloupe, Martinique. There's been a couple showers. Belize overnight. We had a few, even in parts of Colombia. Bigger picture, we've had one system roll by New England, clipping by the Atlantic region of Canada. There's going to be a bigger system rolling into California. For us in the Caribbean, this action stays up to the north. Let me show you what's going on. Let's start small, then let's go wide together. Here's what's going on today, and then I'll show you the snowstorms up to the north. Spotty showers, St. Lucia, Barbados possible, Honduras, Belize, and of course, monitoring near the Cayman Islands. Got you covered for any of those additional aftershocks today. But some of those spotty showers that will be around today, not too widespread, so I also need to monitor some areas of drought. Some of us have been way too dry, drier than average, even for this time of year. As we work our way into Monday, Tuesday, just kind of those hit or miss showers. You see a couple around the Dominican Republic. So for the week ahead, I'll be monitoring some of those drought conditions, that easterly flow, the breezy weather, that's going to stay. The big system staying to the north, the front's not diving down, so we stay with that easterly flow across much of the Caribbean. Southerly flow back behind it, coming through the Gulf right into parts of the United States with that warm weather. There's one system near the Atlantic region of Canada. Here, by the time we get into Tuesday, another one building. This one a little more to the south. You could see that snow potential. Missouri, parts of Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky, West Virginia, Maryland, and Delaware. The rain itself generally to the north of the Caribbean, so not really dipping down. But then you see by the time we get into Thursday, this energy pivots over toward parts of Quebec, over toward New Brunswick and New England. That front diving down to the southern U.S. Some colder air sneaking in out ahead of it. But overall, for us in the Caribbean, we have that spring feel around. So we're not even seeing these. Still this time of year, you may see some fronts that move into the northern Caribbean, and we're just not even seeing that. Then as we go forward into Saturday, so as we get into about a week from now, another big system develops, but this stays to the north, but another big snowmaker, even the possibility of some severe weather, and still watching those systems that are rolling in to parts of British Columbia, over toward parts of the Pacific Northwest and west coast of the United States. Couple snow showers trying to clip by the Avalon Peninsula, watching Newfoundland today. This is that energy coming out of New England. You see that snow over toward St. John's. That'll be a possibility today. The front just clipping by Bermuda, staying to the north of the Bahamas. This is Monday. Some colder air, and then watching that next system. You see it right there taking shape as we work our way into that Tuesday forecast. Seas stay elevated, of course, offshore and near Bermuda and to the north. That's with that system that just rolled by, staying choppy in the Caribbean and the Atlantic waterways, running at about 2 to 3.5 meters. So pushing 10 feet in spots. This is by Tuesday into Wednesday. Everything's staying on the choppy side. Those strong winds coming in out of the east, and that southeasterly flow even making it a little bit bumpier as we work our way into the Gulf by the time we get into Wednesday. So the rain chance not super high. Could see a passing shower. Jamaica, Cayman Islands, we're just not looking at a lot. We are watching, of course, the earthquake activity, no doubt. Dominican Republic, we may get an inch of rain, or anywhere from about 25 millimeters of rain. Could be a little bit more in some spots. Dominican Republic, over toward Puerto Rico and the U.S. and British Virgin Islands with a couple showers passing by. Hit or miss Dominica South, St. Vincent the Grenadines, St. Lucia, Barbados, Grenada, Trinidad. A little bit more though, Guyana and Suriname, some spots 50 millimeters of rain or 2 inches of rain. And then watching out for areas closer to the Caribbean and Central America where we could see some spots around 25 millimeters of rain or an inch of rain, and some spots even higher. Mexico City mainly north, and then eventually watching some of this energy coming out of Texas with that better chance of rain. The snow would be up to the north. So rain chance not very high for us in Jamaica today. 30% chance we may feel some of the aftershocks today in Jamaica. Keep me posted in the comments. Keep me posted in the Cayman Islands. As you feel the rumblings, you can put the time you felt it, the location, kind of how strong you felt it. Wasn't as bad as the last one, or this one was a little bit worse. Let me know. That's how we build this weather community and get that good information out. Trinidad, rain chance about 30%. 30% as we work our way into Barbados the next couple of days. 30% chance the next 2 days in St. Lucia. Rain chance about 40% in Grenada today. 20% chance for tomorrow, 40% chance St. Vincent the Grenadines, and a 30% chance tomorrow. The next 2 days in Martinique, rain chance at 40%. We do that again in Dominica, so some passing showers will be possible over the next couple of days, a 30 to 40% chance in Guadeloupe. Rain chance 30 to 40% Antigua, Barbuda, 30 to 40% chance St. Kitts, Nevis, and Montserrat. Very isolated as we get toward Anguilla and St. Bart's, 20 to 30% chance. We do that again, St. Martin, Saba, and Statia. Rain chance 30% in Puerto Rico over the next 2 days, monitoring any of that earthquake activity nearby. Same thing, U.S. and British Virgin Islands. Rain chance stays on the low side in the Bahamas. Could see a slight chance of a shower staying on the low side in the Turks and Caicos. We're looking at about a 40 to 50% chance, though, in the Dominican Republic, favoring eastern sections. Better chance of some rain, mainly dry as we work our way over toward Haiti. 30 to 40% chance in Belize. You may have felt the earthquake last night. Let me know if you did and put your location down in the comments. We did feel it in Belize. Aruba, rain chance 20% the next couple of days. About a 30% chance Curacao and Bonaire. Rain chance 30 to 40% in Guyana. It's gone down a little bit. It will start to climb, though, as the week goes on in Suriname. By Tuesday, we're up to a 50% chance. Mainly dry in Cuba. If you feel the aftershocks, let me know in the comments. 20% chance of rain, Costa Rica and Panama the next couple of days. 30% chance in Nicaragua. Nicaragua back toward Honduras. If you did feel it, let me know in the comments. The one from yesterday, 30% chance of rain, 20 to 30% chance Guatemala and El Salvador. We're mainly dry in Mexico City, 20% chance by Tuesday, just a 20 to 30% chance of a passing shower. A lot of us felt that earthquake over toward Cancun and Cozumel last night. Northern Colombia, rain chance stays small, 30% chance the next couple of days in northern Venezuela, and a 20 to 30% chance right across Bermuda. So bigger systems staying to the north right across the United States and parts of Canada. We have that warm and windy pattern. Rain building near the southeastern Caribbean. I mentioned in Suriname it picks up later this week. I'll monitor that, but watching also for some areas of drought. And of course, monitoring that earthquake activity nonstop throughout the day. I got you covered right here. Thank you for spreading this channel and getting this information out there. Have a good and safe rest of your day.